What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in this video, I did actually want to talk about the rivals and how they could improve it. Now, the first thing I do want to say, though, is I do think the initial design of the rivals is actually pretty dope. I mean, for one, there's going to be 21 of them, which is going to be plenty of different races. I mean, if you actually think about it in a way, it's actually going to technically be around, let's say, 21 random Street Tier 2 slash hypercar races, which again is pretty dang cool, even though most of these are going to be Tier 2. At least there is more of them. The thing is, though, guys, I feel like if they actually build upon this in the future, though, they can easily make it a lot better and also put other classes into rivals. Now, one thing I did notice, though, is a majority of these are actually Street Tier 1, at least for the Night Stalkers anyway. Then the actual boss is Tier 2, and then these are all Tier 2 as well. But the main one is going to be Hypercars, so technically all the races are basically Street Tier 2. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be terrible, but again, though, I feel like if they actually make another version of this, I really would love to see something like off-roading. Like, for example, guys, there's basically no reason why we could not have these scattered around the map in off-road areas, right? I mean, there's going to be so many off-roading roads, like, for example, I said off-roading roads, wow. But there are so many of them legitimately everywhere that you could easily have, like, rallycross cars cruising around, or, like, imagine seeing some random rallycross cars hitting these roads up here, maybe some rally raid trucks going up and down like random routes on the mountains and stuff like that, hitting these trails or something. I feel like something like that could actually work. Now, we all do know currently that Volume 2 is going to be the main one with the rivals at the moment. This was going to be like the big playlist that was part of this update. Now, the question I have, though, is will we see something like this again, though? And I'm sure you're probably wondering, well, what do you mean by that, though, Block? Well, here's the thing, though. If we actually do end up getting more updates in the future with something similar to this design, how would they actually do it, and are they actually going to have that in the newer playlist? Like, for example, guys, do you actually think they're going to have rivals in all the new playlists, though? That does mean that the playlists are going to have a lot more time put into them. I mean, you have the events, the challenges tied into them. You also have the custom mode now, the side activities. So, like, are they going to continue to do something like this with all of them? Now, I do admit they probably should. The reason for that is, once again, though, they can easily have, like, off-road ones. I mean, I know this is probably going to sound absolutely hilarious, but they can even do rival boat or plane races, man. I know that's probably going to sound a bit dumb. Not everybody likes boats and all that, but I do feel like having around another 21 random boat or even plane events would be pretty dope. Like, imagine having random planes flying around, guys, with special liveries or something on them. I do think they should probably allow you to take the liveries off the vehicles. That would be kind of dope. Not sure why you actually can't remove them. It's kind of odd. Like, I get it, they're special, but again, if you actually wanted to remove the livery, the cars still have the special kit on them that you can't actually remove. So yes, they're still going to be special. But imagine for a second, though, having like a powerboat version of the rivals or even planes. You could even easily have the Rally Raid Rally Cross, and their Alpha GP could have rivals, which I do think in March is the next season, which, man, that's so far away, bro. But I do feel like that's probably going to be, what is it, like a Red Bull type of update or something like that. I mean, they could probably have like an Alpha GP version of this. Now, I do understand not everybody does want it. But one good thing about this, though, guys, again, with this playlist, though, is you legitimately have, what is it, like 20 Street Tier 2 races you can do that add on to it. That is going to be a good amount of events and different, like, randomized generators on them, which I do understand there's not going to be like 100 different routes like it's set, but it is still going to be a ton of different races you could do. So, like, that could be a really good way for them to add more races into the game. That's what I was thinking. So if we actually have the regular events, which is probably going to be like, what, 6 to 9 races per playlist, if they actually have the rivals in there, though, with like a plane, powerboat, rally raid, rally cross, that is a lot of different races they could end up adding that could be random or something else to do, instead of only having like the main events in the actual playlist. And that was actually something I was thinking about when I did end up seeing like the rivals board or like the showcase thing showing the footage of this. I was like, yo, this can actually be a great way to bring even more events into the game with variety and stuff. Like, I'm not saying lock every single playlist to like one class or something, but maybe they can have something with like a variety. Maybe one of them can be planes, boats, motocross, or even monster trucks. Maybe have some demolition derby events in there would be kind of dope. And maybe this can actually be a good way for them to add a big variety of events on top of the actual playlist. We all do know a lot of players do want more events, but the thing is, though, with how the playlist design is, it is probably going to be insanely difficult to get lots of races quicker. But if you actually had something like the rivals design in there, instead of only having, what is it, like 8 to 9 events per playlist, you can actually have an extra 20 of them in each of the playlists if they did actually want to design it this way. Again, though, I don't know if they're going to keep doing it. There is no word right now that I do know of the next playlist being added, but if it is just going to be around 10 events, side activities, challenges, and custom mode again, that playlist is most likely going to be pretty boring to most players in probably around an hour or so. Once you actually get the races done, that is basically it. But if they do add something more into that said playlist, like something like the Rivals, to where we can actually use different classes and go like find them on like an off-road area or something, I would actually really enjoy having different plane races in this way. And I feel like a lot of players have been asking for more boat events recently from what I have noticed, so why not do something like that? I think it's a great way to do it. And that way they can actually have like the bigger playlist coming out, players are going to enjoy them more, instead of having like a tiny playlist with some events, some challenges, and then boom, it is over. But again, though, I'm really curious to know if they're actually going to do something like this in a future playlist. Like, do you guys actually think we're going to see more rivals in the upcoming playlist, hopefully in Season 6? I do think everybody's probably expecting it, like we really do need the content and stuff like that, especially having the brand new map in the game, they need to fill it in. This can be a great way to do that. Like, imagine putting random off-road racers all around the map, having some random planes flying around, you can race them, have some power boats around it. Like, I feel like something like that could work, man. Like, here, let me zoom out into Maui here real quick, guys. I'm currently on Oahu, but heading over to Maui, like, this map is obviously pretty big. There's not much going on it, at least at the moment. There's not going to be a ton of events. You can tell it's pretty empty. But if they actually added a few playlists like the one I mentioned, though, all the off-road areas can have, like, random rally cross cars driving around, like some rally ray vehicles driving around, like even on the volcano taking some weird routes and stuff like that. You got planes flying around the map in certain places. You have power boats over here or something, and you can actually spawn into that said vehicle and then race them. Wouldn't that actually be pretty dope, man? Like, I feel like players would love it, and that would again be so many more races they can add. They can also put some of them, of course, on Oahu, which they probably will, and I think that would actually be good for like the mix-up of having events going from one side to another. Like, for example, guys, in a powerboat, you could easily do something like this route, right? Going around all the islands, maybe doing like a circular thing there, heading to this island, going over here and coming back. Like, there's other things they could do with it. This was also something I was thinking about, man. Like, this really opens up so many areas for events, though, and I really do hope we actually see more playlists being added in Season 6. What I mean by that is, well, not having one or two playlists every time a season comes out. I think it needs to be legit, like maybe three or four, or even like two big playlists with like the Rivals thing in there. That way there's going to be way more events basically scattered everywhere. I mean, look at this map, man. There is so much they can actually do with it. But do let me know what you guys think about the overall Rivals design in the comments below. Would you also agree having something like power boats, planes, rallycross stuff in there? I feel like everybody would absolutely love it.